and bargaining with each other, with the tourists.
Yeah, I think we can describe Kashgar as an original city. If you want to say the original life of Uyghurs, that would be our best place to go. And I think after Kashgar, after sightseeing, after the culture tour, our last destination should definitely be Urumqi, the provincial city of Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region.
And how many days should I spend in this city?
I think probably 2 days. Before leaving, you'd better go shopping and buy some souvenirs for your friends and as well as your family.
Yeah, load it with as many as you can carry. I heard that there are Russians and Kazakh businessmen visiting Urumqi regularly.
Yeah, that's true. And if you want to go shopping in Urumqi, there are 2 markets that you simply cannot miss. One is called Ardaoqiao Market. The other is called the Grand Bazaar.
Oh, I've heard about both. Ardaoqiao has over 100 years of history, and it was first formed by vendors following Governor General Zuo Zongtang to enter Xinjiang.
That's true. Ardaoqiao Market is the largest retail and wholesale market for ethnic minority goods in Xinjiang. The night scene there is also very spectacular because in the nights people would put on lights and that just make it a colorful street, I should say.
Oh, this would also offers a good opportunity to practice your bargain skills.
Yeah.
For all the goods are negotiable. As for those who are not so keen enough on bargain hunting with the locals, it's reason enough to visit.
Yeah, that's true. And the other place I just mentioned is Grand Bazaar. It is a place to get and look at regional products, and there are also imported products from nearby Russia and Mongolia, and the new states to the west, like you said, like Ruiyao said just now. It is a popular tourist destination and somewhat of a tourist trap. It is in the city's Uyghur district on the southern side of the city, and that just makes the place very interesting.
And you can try the local food, try Uyghur fruit cakes and dried fruits. I remember you mentioned a snack yesterday. You said it's a must to try in Xinjiang. And what's that?
It's naan. Ruiyao, have you ever heard about this?
Yeah, I used to have naan every day in the Xinjiang restaurant in Beijing when I was in high school. And it's together with some lamb kebabs. The naan is a special kind of bread baked for travelers passing through the desert, and it's baked and dried.
Yeah.
Seems very delicious. You all know that I must try it.
Because I think so. You have never saw it before? Tried it before?
No, never heard it before.
Maybe because you come from the south part.
Yeah, maybe.
Naan is the main food for Uyghur and has many varieties. The main ingredients of savory naan are flour, onions, eggs, sesame oil, butter, milk, sugar, and salt. Savory naans are mainly baked in the naan ovens. They usually paste the naan cakes on the inner wall of the naan ovens, and the naans would be fully cooked after about half an hour. Then blow up the superficial dust when eating. They are not only delicious but also can be reserved for long and won't rot.
But that sounds like a complicated baking process. I thought it's simply by putting some flours into the oven.
You just need to add some more ingredients. It's not that complicated, actually. Yeah. Uyghurs is actually not that good at cooking as Han people.
But their cuisine is absolutely delicious, with emphasis on the original taste of the food.
So it seems better just go straight to Urumqi to eat that.
I think you can try it both in all the cities we just mentioned. It's not only in Urumqi.
And most of Urumqi is a regular Chinese city. But to see some regional culture and shops, the Grand Bazaar and the Uyghur area around it is an interesting place to go.
Yeah, that's true. And also the Xinjiang Silk Road Museum is easy to find since it is located adjacent to the Grand Bazaar. And at last, I think we should listen to a piece of song called Friends.
这些年一个人，风也过，雨也走，有过泪，有过错，还记得坚持什么？真爱过，再回头，会寂寞，会回首，总有梦，总有你。
Hello China, I'm Tian.
Hi, I'm Ruiyao.
Okay, so what are the news this week, Ruiyao?
Well, this week we have two pieces of news related to economics from China. First, we will follow the development of the international monetary system from China, and then take a look at last year's performance of the major Chinese banks. On Thursday, March the 31st, when the final result of the Irish Bank stress test was published, financial ministers and central bankers from developed and emerging economies gathered in the former Chinese capital of Nanjing for a high-level seminar on the international monetary system. The one-day forum was initiated by the French President Nicolas Sarkozy and co-managed by Chinese Vice Premier Wang Qishan. It comes weeks before the G20 meetings for finance ministers and central bank governors to be held mid-April in Washington. Other notable participants include the International Monetary Fund Managing Director Dominic Strauss-Kahn, U.S. Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, and ECB President Jean-Claude Trichet, and China's own central banker Zhou Xiaochuan. The delegates discussed a range of issues during the session, include tackling the uncertainty in the world financial market, partly caused by Japan's deadly twin crisis and nuclear leakage. The European debt crisis is also another key topic. The Nanjing Forum demonstrated the latest effort by France to reform the global monetary system, which was made a priority of its year-long presidency of the G20. President Sarkozy remarked during his address that international monetary system must gradually evolve and to reflect the major trends in the world economy. He mentioned in particular China's striking growth, which signifies the ongoing shift in world equilibrium. Both Mr. Sarkozy and Timothy Geithner have advocated a more flexible exchange rate mechanism. Mr. Geithner stated explicitly that the mismatches of fixed and floating exchange regimes in emerging economies leads to trade protectionism and accelerates inflation. The Chinese side did not reply directly to his call, but on the market, the yuan appreciated to a record high of 9.32 per euro.
Yeah, apparently China has kept its conservative attitude on this issue. Chinese Premier Wang Qishan pointed out that such systematic adaptation will be a complicated process, and the international community should further explore for a more scientific and stable monetary system. He reiterated the significance of the improvement and pledged that China will work with its partners to develop the international economic system in a fair, reasonable, and win-win manner.
Yes, that's what he said. And on the other hand, economists seem to have reached consensus on adjusting the basket of currencies comprising the special drawing rights, a substitute reserve asset created by the IMF. China is open to the yuan to join, but again, Tim Geithner listed flexible exchange rate and free market flow as preconditions for any currency to be added into the calculation.
I think the special drawing right you just mentioned is quite interesting, and it's definitely another hot topic in the forum. And it means, the special drawing rights means a monetary unit of international reserve assets defined and maintained by the International Monetary Fund. The unit does not represent a currency, but represents a potential claim on the currencies of IMF members for which it may be exchanged. Allocations of special drawing rights to IMF members are backed by a fund pulled by contributing nations, and they obtain their reserve aside power from the commitments of the IMF member states to hold and honor them for payment of balances.
The SDR is currently determined by the weighted sum of four major currencies, the euro, the dollar, pound sterling, and the yen, and is revaluated every 5 years. Since the last adjustment took place in 2010, That means the yuan won't be added into the calculation earlier than 2015. So I think the developed economies are using this seminar as a chance to push China to lose its control of the exchange rate, and the US is also calling for a more favorable exchange rate with the yuan because China has been resisting a fast appreciation of its currency for a couple of years, citing a gradual adjustment is key for economic and social stability. On the other hand, several economists participating in the conference, including Nobel laureates Joseph Stiglitz and Robert Mundell, have stressed the urgency for the SDR to play a more important role on the global stage. Mr. Mundell even countered Mr. Geithner's argument by saying that it is not fully necessary for China to have floating exchange rate before the yuan to be added into the basket.
Yeah, I think we need wait and see. On the same week, the major Chinese banks published their annual net profits, and the results from 4 major banks are unanimous, better than expected, which has sent Hong Kong stock index more than 2% higher.
Yeah, let's take a look at the reports separately. First of all, Bank of China, the smallest among the big 4 banks by assets, had a 29% rise in net profits to 104 billion yuan or 11 billion euros, driven by steady loan growth and a mild recovery in its interest margin. Agriculture Bank of China, or ABC, the biggest rural lender, grew a whopping 46% to 95 billion yuan or 10 billion euros, far outstripping its competitors focusing on the urban areas. The bank's chairman attributed its record profits to the huge transfer of wealth into the countryside. In the past decades, the state-owned agriculture bank ran huge losses to maintain its branches in the rural area, making it the last big Chinese bank to go public. But things have changed dramatically. Last year, the government invested 2.5% of GDP into the countryside, while private enterprises have also started shifting their own operations into the country for lower costs.
Yeah, and if you are interested in doing business in China, attention, the business potential in the countries that has pushed ICBC, China's biggest lender, to consider returning to rural market.
Yeah, ICBC is the competitor of ABC, and its profit in 2010 grew by 19%, totaling 165 billion yuan or 18 billion euros. Its own chairman acknowledged the importance of managing risks while also iterated the importance of expanding into the rural market. I think at this stage in China, the high estate prices and living costs in the urban area deterred people from entering the city and reduced internal migration. So I think in the next few years, probably there will be more shift in the balance of the economy into the rural area. So if you want to invest, maybe the countryside is a good choice.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. Okay, thanks Ruiyao. That's all for today's Hello China. Don't forget to drop us a line at hellochina@dublincityfm.ie. See you next week.
See you.